You know that moment when you're sitting at a table, a dinner, a work meeting, just a group of people hanging out, and someone says something, and the whole room just stops. Not because they were loud, not because they said anything crazy. They just spoke, and something in the air shifted. Phones went face down, people turned, and whatever that person said next, everyone listened, like it actually mattered. And you sat there watching it happen, and somewhere in the back of your head, this quiet little voice said, "Why isn't that me?" Hold on to that feeling, because that's not insecurity talking. That's your instincts recognizing a gap between where you are and where you're supposed to be. And most men spend their entire lives feeling that gap without ever understanding what's actually causing it. Today, we're going to talk about that. All of it. And I'm not going to be gentle about it, because gentle doesn't work. You've heard gentle. Gentle didn't change anything. If this channel is new to you, subscribe right now. Not because I need the number, but because what we talk about here finds the guys who are ready. If you're still watching, that might be you. Here's the thing, nobody tells you, not your school, not your parents, not the people who benefit from you staying exactly where you are. You are being evaluated constantly. Every room you walk into, every conversation you have, every time you say yes when your whole body was telling you to say no. People are watching, not like surveillance, just the way humans have always watched each other, reading signals, deciding whether you're someone worth paying attention to, or someone they can comfortably ignore. And the brutal part, most of those calculations happen in the first few seconds. Before you say that's shallow, think about the last time you recommended someone for something. A job, a project, a favor. You didn't think about how hard they tried last year, or how good their intentions were. You thought about who would actually deliver, who had a track record you trusted. That's not cruelty. That's how value works in the real world. Most men are playing the wrong game. They invest everything into being liked instead of being needed, into being pleasant instead of being remarkable, into fitting in instead of becoming the person the room actually requires. Machiavelli understood this 500 years ago. Men judge by appearances. They see results, not effort. They see strength, not potential. They see what's in front of them, not what you're planning to become someday when the timing feels right. That last part is where most guys get stuck. The someday trap. Someday when I feel more confident. Someday when I have more experience. Someday when everything is just a little more ready. Meanwhile, someone else, someone who maybe has less raw talent than you, is just doing it. Right now, imperfectly, visibly, and they're building a track record while you're still building a plan. Your worth is not a number that lives inside you waiting to be discovered. It's something you demonstrate, repeatedly, in front of people who matter, in situations that are real. So here's the question I want you to sit with. In the last 30 days, if someone had a camera on everything you did, every decision, every hour, every conversation, would they see a man genuinely building something? Or a man waiting for a moment that never quite arrives? Drop building or waiting in the comments right now. No judgment, just honesty. Because the guys who type waiting and actually mean it are often the ones who turn it around fastest. Now let's talk about something that changed the way I move through basically every situation. Scarcity is not a manipulation tactic. It's a law of human psychology that operates whether you're aware of it or not. Think about your phone right now. You've got apps you haven't opened in months. They're always there, always available. And because of that, you almost never think about them. Now think about that restaurant in your city, the one that's always fully booked, the one you tried to get into twice and couldn't. You think about it more than restaurants you've actually been to. You talk about it. You want to go even more now than before it turned you away. That's not about the food. That's your brain assigning higher value to things that aren't easily accessible. And this runs through everything, every relationship, every job, every person you found yourself thinking about at 2 a.m. So here's the uncomfortable question. What does your behavior communicate about your value? If you answer every message within minutes, regardless of what you're doing, if you're always free, always rearranging your schedule for whoever asks, if you say yes to invitations you don't even want to attend because you're afraid of what people will think if you don't show up, you have made yourself common. and common things are treated as disposable. This is not about playing games. The guys who perform scarcity, pretending to be busy, artificially delaying texts get found out, and it destroys their credibility. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about genuinely filling your time with things that matter. Having real standards about where your energy goes, being selective about who gets access to you, not as a performance, but because your time is actually valuable to you, and you decided to treat it that way. When that shift happens, something changes in how people relate to you. Your presence starts to mean something because it isn't guaranteed. Your yes carries weight because your no is a real possibility. The man who is everywhere is valued nowhere. The man who shows up selectively, who speaks carefully, who moves with actual intention, that man becomes magnetic without trying to be. And trying to be is exactly the thing that ruins it. Now, I want to talk about silence. Not as a vague concept, as a practical tool most men have never learned to use, and because of that, they bleed power constantly without realizing it. Picture this. You're in a room, a meeting, a group of friends, a first date. There's a guy who's been talking nonstop, filling every gap, jumping in before people finish sentences, visibly working for approval with every word. And there's someone else who hasn't said much, maybe 3 or 4 things the whole time. But every time that person spoke, something shifted. People got quieter, leaned in slightly, actually listened. You've been in that room. You know exactly who I mean. That quiet person isn't naturally mysterious. They figured out something specific. When you talk constantly, you reveal constantly your insecurities, your need to be liked, your plans, your fears, your weaknesses. You hand people a complete map of how to handle you. But the person who speaks less reveals less. They become harder to read, harder to predict, and the person who can't be fully predicted can never be fully controlled. Try this tomorrow. In whatever social situation you find yourself in, when someone says something designed to get a reaction, a little test, a passive dig, don't react immediately. Just look at them. Let the silence sit there for 2 or 3 seconds. Watch what happens. Almost every time, they get uncomfortable. They fill the silence themselves. They backtrack, over-explain, reveal more than they intended to, all because you didn't flinch. Silence makes people nervous. Nervous people reveal everything. And your words, when they finally come, land with 10 times the weight they would have if you'd jumped in immediately. You've trained the room to wait for them, to treat them as something worth waiting for. This applies everywhere. In negotiations, arguments, job interviews, moments when someone is trying to provoke you. The 2-second pause before you respond is one of the most powerful tools available to you, and it costs nothing except the willingness to be comfortable with discomfort. There's also a version of this that happens in your own head that people never talk about. Your anger wants you to react immediately. Your ego wants you to defend yourself the second you feel challenged. Your insecurity wants to fill every silence with proof that you're fine. Everything's good, nothing bothers you. But the man who has learned to sit in silence without flinching, that man is genuinely difficult to rattle. And people feel that. They may not be able to articulate it, but they feel it. It registers somewhere before words do. That's presence. And presence is built in exactly these small, invisible moments of restraint. Let's talk about where most self-improvement gets it completely wrong. There's a version of working on yourself that's all surface. Better clothes, better haircut, how to walk into a room confidently. None of that is bad, but it's the coat of paint. And too many men spend years painting without ever building the structure underneath. Charisma gets you in the room. Competence determines whether they invite you back. Think about 2 guys. One is the life of every social situation. Smooth, warm, easy to be around. The other is quieter. He's been going deep into one specific skill for 3 years. He can do things in his field that most people simply cannot do. A real problem shows up. Something with actual consequences. Who do you call? That's not even a question. The world is full of charming people who deliver nothing when it counts. Those people are remembered warmly and then forgotten entirely. But the person who solves problems others can't, that person gets called before the opportunity is even posted publicly. gets to write their own terms instead of accepting whatever's offered. Pick one skill, something the world actually pays for, that solves real problems for real people, and go so deep that your name starts to mean something in that space. Not good, not solid, exceptional. Because when you reach that level, you stop competing entirely. You stop sending applications, hoping to get picked. You become someone that rooms are specifically arranged to include, that requires invisible hours, work nobody applauds, choosing to work over comfort 1,000 times in a row. But every hour you put in when you don't feel like it is the separation happening in real time between you and the version of you that stays average. Think about it this way. The guys who will be ahead of you in 5 years are not smarter than you. They are not luckier than you. They are doing the work tonight that you are deciding whether or not to do. That's the entire difference. Not talent, not timing, just the willingness to do the hard thing now in exchange for options that feel impossible to imagine later. Every master was once a complete disaster at the thing they're now known for. The gap between disaster and mastery is just repetition. Relentless, boring, unglamorous repetition that nobody watches and nobody rewards until suddenly it becomes undeniable. If this is landing for you, hit like right now. It genuinely helps this reach the people who need it. And if you're not subscribed yet, do that too. I'm not going anywhere, but the next video might be exactly what you need, and I don't want you to miss it. Now, let's talk about your emotions. And before you check out thinking this is going to get soft, stay with me. This is about power, specifically about who holds it in any given situation. Most men are emotional slot machines. Pull the right lever and they explode. Say the right thing and they get defensive. Flatter them slightly and they open up completely. Their inner state is constantly on display, and people, consciously or not, use that information. You've experienced this from the other side. You've been in a conversation where you could tell exactly what someone was feeling. Their face gave it away. And in that moment, whether you meant to or not, you had information about how to handle them. Think about how often you're that person. Machiavelli wrote that the man who cannot govern himself will always be governed by others. The moment your emotions hijack your response, you've handed control to whoever triggered them. They didn't have to work hard. You did it for them. Emotional mastery is not about becoming cold. The goal is to feel everything and be controlled by nothing. When anger rises, breathe before you respond. Not to suppress it, to delay it just long enough for your judgment to catch up. When someone tries to provoke you, smile internally, because they've already lost. They needed a reaction from you to win, and you're not giving it to them. There's also a version of this that's less obvious. When you're excited about something, a new opportunity, a new relationship, that excitement will want you to reveal too much too soon. Show your hand before the game is settled. The disciplined man feels the excitement fully and reveals it strategically, and release outcomes. You can work with full intensity toward something and still not need a specific result to feel stable. The man who needs one particular outcome to work becomes controllable through that need. The man who can walk away, invested but not desperate, negotiates from a completely different position. That's the whole difference. Now, let's talk about the people around you, because this might be where the most damage is quietly happening. Think about the 5 people you spend the most time with, not who you'd like to spend time with. The actual people whose voices are in your head most often, whose habits you've absorbed, whose standards have become your default normal. Are those people building something? Do they make you feel like your ambitions are possible? Or is the first response to anything you want to do a reason why it probably won't work? The second type of person isn't always trying to hold you back. Sometimes they genuinely care about you, but they operate from a specific set of beliefs about what's possible. In every hour you spend in that environment, those beliefs quietly become yours too. Not dramatically, just steadily, the way water shapes stone. Every person in your life is either elevating you, draining you, or neutral. And neutral is closer to draining than people realize, because time is the one resource you cannot recover. Look at your circle with honest eyes. Who doubts you in the small ways? The slight skepticism when you talk about what you're building. The gentle jokes with a little edge underneath. the absence of real enthusiasm when something goes well for you. Those people are anchors. They may not know it, but they are. And on the other side, who challenges you, who operates at a level slightly above where you are and makes that feel normal. Those people are rare. When you find them, be genuinely useful before you ask for anything. Bring value first. The powerful don't keep parasites in their circle. They keep allies. Watch patterns, not words. Words are cheap, but how someone behaves under pressure, especially when loyalty costs them something, that reveals character. Give trust slowly, in small amounts. Watch what people do with it. Withdraw it completely when it's violated. Your inner circle should be small. 3, 4, maybe 5 people who have earned real access to your thoughts and plans. The rest exist at different levels of proximity, and that's not coldness, that's wisdom. Now, the most underused source of power available to any man. It's not a skill, it's not a mindset, it's a capacity. The ability to walk away, not as a threat, not as a performance, as a genuine, internal readiness to leave a situation, a relationship, a job, and be okay on the other side. Think about every negotiation you've ever been in where you needed a specific outcome. Needed this job, needed this person to want you back, needed this deal to close. Think about how much power you actually had in those situations. How much of the conversation was you subtly signaling desperation while trying to look confident? Now, think about a time, if you've had one, where you went in genuinely prepared to walk away, where you had options, where this thing not working out would have been disappointing but not devastating. Different energy entirely. That's leverage. Real, structural leverage that doesn't require you to perform anything. It just exists because of the options you built. Most men never develop it because building options requires work before you need them. Multiple skills, multiple relationships, a financial situation that gives you choices, not just coverage, and no single door closing ever locks you out. The paradox Machiavelli understood, and most people never do. The willingness to walk away is often exactly what makes people most want you to stay. Your boss finds budget for a raise the moment you hand in your resignation. The person taking you for granted finds urgency when you stop pursuing them. This is what leverage looks like in real life, and it belongs entirely to the people who built options before they needed them. Practice in small ways now. Leave the conversation that's going nowhere. Decline the invitation that would cost you 3 hours and return nothing. Say no without a paragraph of explanation. Every small walkaway builds the muscle for the bigger ones that will eventually come. And when those bigger moments arrive, when you need to leave a career, end a chapter, step away from something you've invested years into, you won't freeze. You won't spend 6 months convincing yourself it's okay to go. You'll already know how to move forward, because you've practiced being okay on the other side of the uncomfortable decision. That's not recklessness. That's preparation. The men who cannot leave what no longer serves them will never build what could. The men who grip the familiar too tightly always lose it anyway, just painfully, on someone else's timeline. But the man who has developed his walkaway capacity moves through the world differently. He speaks differently. He negotiates differently. He doesn't accept conditions that don't deserve him, because he knows, without needing to say it out loud, that he has somewhere else to go. Before you close this tab, I want to leave you with one thing that works silently, constantly, in every room you're not in: your reputation. Before you enter any room, your name has usually arrived there already. Someone remembered something about how you handled the situation. Based on that, decisions are being made before you walk through the door. Most of the best opportunities you'll ever have won't come through applications or interviews. They'll come through conversations you were never in, where someone said you should talk to this guy, or they won't come, because that same conversation happened and someone paused slightly and said, "I don't know, I've heard some things." Your reputation is working at all times. The only question is whether you've built it intentionally or left it to chance. Decide what you want your name to mean. Practically, what 3 words do you want people to reach for when describing you to someone who doesn't know you? Then let every decision be a vote for or against those words. Reputation is built in the ordinary moments. The Tuesday morning when no one's watching and you still do the thing properly. The small commitment you kept when breaking it would have been easier and gone completely unnoticed. The way you handled a loss quietly, without excuses, with focus on what comes next rather than who to blame. Those moments don't feel significant in the moment. That's exactly why most people skip them. But they compound. Slowly, invisibly, they compound. And years later, the man who kept showing up the same way in all the small moments has a name that opens doors he never had to knock on. Consistency is the entire mechanism. One great moment means nothing, followed by 10 careless ones. People don't trust performances, they trust trajectories. Show them the same version of you, reliable, intentional, excellent, often enough that your name becomes synonymous with it. That's branding at its most fundamental level. Not what you post, not what you say about yourself. What people say about you when you're not in the room. Protect it with the same seriousness you'd protect anything irreplaceable. When someone misrepresents you, address it calmly and clearly. Not with anger, with a correction that makes the cost of misrepresentation obvious. Silence in the face of slander is often read as confirmation. Know when to speak and when to let your track record do the answering. Your name is going to echo after you've left rooms, after you've moved on from chapters, long after the actual work is done. What that echo sounds like is something you're building right now, in the decisions nobody is clapping for. So here's what I'll leave you with. The version of you that's possible in 2 years is genuinely unrecognizable from where you're standing right now. Not because of some dramatic event, not because of a single decision or a lucky break, but because of the accumulation of small choices, made consistently, that slowly become habits, and then slowly become character, and then slowly become the kind of man that other men look at across a room and think, why isn't that me? You get to be that man. That's not reserved for people with better starting conditions, or better genetics, or better luck. It's built. It has always been built. And building starts with a single decision, made right now, that you will not be the man who just watched and waited and felt the gap without ever doing anything about it. That version of you is not waiting for a sign. He's waiting for you to start. The world will test you. Comfort will make a compelling case every morning for staying exactly where you are. Failure will show up with evidence that you should quit. Old friends will find subtle ways to make ambition seem arrogant or naive. Those tests don't stop. What changes is your capacity to pass them. And that capacity is built exactly the same way everything else worth having is built, through repetition. Through showing up when you don't feel like it. Through choosing the slightly harder thing, often enough that it stops feeling hard and starts feeling like just who you are. Every setback is data. Every difficult person is a test of whether your composure is real or just theoretical. Every obstacle is an opportunity to prove, not to anyone else, just to yourself, that you are the kind of man who keeps going. Iron doesn't become steel without fire. That's not a metaphor. That's chemistry. And you are no different. From this point forward, carry yourself like someone who understands what's actually happening. Move with intention. Guard your time. Build your reputation in the small moments. Speak less, mean more. Stay where you deserve to be, and walk away from where you don't. Let no one define your value except you. If something in this video landed somewhere real, drop untouchable in the comments. Not for me. As a line in the sand for yourself. A declaration that something shifted today. Subscribe if you haven't. Like this if it was worth your time. Share it with one person who you think is ready. Now go make a decision that the version of you 2 years from now will thank you for.